Haley Reese and welcome to day 5 of our 31 days of Halloween. Today I was thinking about what video I wanted to post for today's video, and I thought about it super hard because I have so many crazy things coming up and it's really hard for me to decide which ones to do which days. A lot of you guys have been tweeting me asking me if I would do another reading of true scary stories, and I thought, you know what, I'm kind of feeling like doing that today. And I was looking on the internet and I came across an article of true scary stories, and the titles of all of them just really started to freak me out, and I was like, yes, that is what we're gonna do today, but I'm not gonna read them now. I'm gonna read them with the Reese's Pieces. So if you guys want to hear some of the scariest true stories the internet has to offer, then all you gotta do is just keep on watching today's video. Very quickly though, for those of you who are like, Haley, we miss your own stories, I've got some crazy ones coming this week, so don't get discouraged. I will surely not disappoint you with the stories of mine that I have coming up. Very quickly, if you are new to my channel though, hi, my name is Haley. My family on here is the Reese's Pieces, and we believe in the unbelievable. So if you too believe in the unbelievable, or you just want to hear about it, all you gotta do is go ahead, click that subscribe button, and join our family. Okay, let's get into these true scary stories. Alright, there's so many of them, it's hard to pick which one. Alright, let's start with nightmare time. My mother always complained that she had a lot of nightmares, but she would never say what her dreams were about. One day, while we were at the mall, I suggested that she wait in the food court while I was getting our food. When I returned with our meals, she had a strange look on her face, so I asked her if she was okay. She said she was fine, so we finished our meals and left. As we were riding down the escalator to leave, I turned to talk to my mother, and I almost had a heart attack because standing behind her was a man in old-fashioned clothing, holding one of my mother's shoulders and looking at me with a very angry expression. She saw the shock on my face and right away shouted at me asking what was wrong. When I told her what I had seen, she started crying and said, "You just described the man that tries to kill me every night in my nightmares." Oh my goodness. If you guys watched yesterday's video, I told you guys about one of my recurring nightmares as a child, and I told you how I felt like it wasn't just a nightmare, that it was something more spiritual and more paranormal than that. So the fact that this is in fact a true story, this was sent in by a girl named Anna Carolina, and so it's a true story. It goes to show that sometimes nightmares are not really just nightmares. My possessed friend. One time, my husband and I had some friends over to eat pizza. One of my friends, who has always been very mystical, began to feel ill in the kitchen and excused himself to our bedroom. Once he was in the bedroom, he started to rock back and forth, and giggle in a voice that made my hair stand on end. I ran out of the room shivering with fear. My husband went in to check on him and soon returned saying our friend wanted to talk to me. I went into the bedroom where my friend walked up to me with his eyes rolled into the back of his head and made a few grunts saying, "This is my house." Then he knelt, kissed my feet, rubbed his hand on my belly, and motioned as though he was nursing a baby. When he knelt again, the phone rang loudly and he came out of the trance. About a month later, I found out I was pregnant, which may explain the gesture he made. My father-in-law had died 8 months before this incident, which might also explain the "this is my house." To this day, it still terrifies me. So I had told you guys that I had babysat a little girl that was possessed, or who I believe to be possessed. It's not fair for me to say that she was for certain, but one of my biggest fears, I would say, is to actually physically see somebody in a state of like possession, like with the whole voice changing and like eyes rolling back and things like that. So that would really freak me out, even if it was her father-in-law and he was being nice or something. I don't know, that would still get me. The next one is called The Devilish Joke. I was once playing with a Ouija board. Alright, yep, this is not gonna be a good one. In my room with a friend, we tried to light some candles, and crazy as it sounds, they just wouldn't light, no matter how long I held the match to them. After a while, I managed to light them, and we turned off the lights and closed the windows. Out of nowhere, my friend's mother called her asking if everything was okay with her. Apparently, she suddenly felt a pain of worry. After my friend calmed her mother down, we started using the Ouija board, but nothing happened, other than the candle flames moving kind of strangely. Later in the evening, after my friend had already gone home, I felt a sensation of being watched. I ignored it and I went to sleep, but I had nightmares about being chased by a scary beast with enormous claws, and when I managed to wake up, I saw that my legs were all scratched up. I couldn't sleep anymore, so I threw the Ouija board in the trash and slept cuddled up next to my mother for 2 weeks. That one actually wasn't too bad. I thought that it was going to be much worse than it was. Okay, the next one is titled The Little Hands. I've never lived in a haunted house, but my mother did as a teen. Other houses on her street had strange things going on too. A few homes away from her lived a man and his family. One night, one of his daughters went to bed with a bad headache. The next day, she was dead. She'd passed away from an aneurysm. After the funeral, the family went away to get their minds off the tragedy, and the father asked my uncle, my mom's brother, to check on their pets. My mom and dad, they were dating then, went with my uncle. My mother had heard there was a grand piano and she wanted to play it. My dad was studying to be a veterinarian. After entering the house, my uncle and my father headed to the basement to see animals, and my mother went to the piano on the ground floor. She was playing it when she felt something brush her ankles. She thought that the cat must have left the basement and walked past her. She kept playing, and then she felt it again. She looked under the piano and saw nothing. When she started again, she felt hands clasp her leg and grab them tightly. She dashed to the basement door, called my uncle and father, and waited for them. When they all walked outside, my uncle could tell my mom was rattling and asked what was wrong. Was rattled, sorry, not rattling. She told him what had happened, and he turned white. He told her the daughter who died used to play a game with her father. When he'd play the piano, she'd crawl underneath, grab his ankles, and push his feet up and down in the pedals. That is creepy. The next one is titled The Unseen Patient. The ambulance company that I used to work for had a haunted ambulance, Rig 12. A lot of EMTs had stories about it, but I never put much stock in paranormal stuff. That is, until I had my own experience. My partner and I were working in a community at 3 a.m. and it was pitch dark and completely quiet. We were both dozing. I was in the driver's seat and she was in the passenger seat. I woke up to a muffled voice and I thought my partner was talking. I told her I was trying to sleep and closed my eyes. I distinctly heard a male voice say, "Oh my God, am I dying?" Followed by a few seconds of heavy breathing. My partner and I sat up straight, looked back into the patient compartment where it sounded like the voice had came from. Things were quiet for a couple of seconds, and then we heard the click of an oxygen bottle regulator and a hiss as if it were leaking. I turned the lights on and we ran out of the rig. I thought someone might have climbed in while we were asleep, so we opened the rear doors and no one was there. I checked the oxygen bottle and neither was open. We didn't sleep much after that. The poltergeist ghost. My neighbor Diane and I had a playful poltergeist for years. We called it Billy. I'd come home and find something put in a weird place. Milk in the cupboard, toilet paper in the fridge, laundry in the bathtub. Diane once called to ask if Billy had been around because she couldn't find a gallon of milk. We finally found it outside on her back steps. And sugar. Darn sugar. Every morning my sugar bowl was empty. When I had enough, I'd point to Diane's home and yell, "Go see Diane." Within 5 minutes, I'd get a call from her and she'd say thanks a lot because he'd gone and pulled shenanigans at her place. This occurred for the entire 2 years we lived there. No one believed us, not even our husbands. My mother thought someone was stealing from us when we were sleeping or out of the house. My sister believed something was going on but didn't know what. I still can't explain any of it. That's interesting that it was actually like a playful poltergeist rather than like a completely evil one. I don't know, that's kind of cute. Okay, I'm gonna conclude with this one. It's titled The Boy with No Eyes. One night when I was 10, I was woken up by my bedroom door opening, followed by someone sitting on my bed. I felt my leg grazed and the bed sink under a person's weight. Thinking it was my mom, I opened my eyes to see an eyeless boy. He had black, empty sockets. About my age, sitting at the foot of my bed. He extended his hand, and in it was a little box. I was startled but reached out. He pulled back. I reached again and said, "Give it." Then I blinked, and when I reopened my eyes, he was gone, but the imprint of someone sitting on my bed was present. Fast forward 5 years, my girlfriend came over to do homework. After she finished, she took a nap while she waited for her parents. When they arrived, I tried waking her up. She opened her eyes suddenly, looking up at the corner where the wall met the ceiling. She pointed there and went back to sleep. I shook her again, and she came to full consciousness, and I explained what she'd done. She said up on the wall I saw a little boy with no eyes. He was there in a Spider-Man pose, staring at me. I freaked out and told her my story about the same kid. Fast forward another 5 years. I was with the same girlfriend and we had a 2-year-old. We were living in my parents' house in my old room. My daughter started waking up at the same time every night and she'd talk. After a while, I noticed she had almost the same conversation every night. I playfully asked her once who she was talking to. She said, "It's a little boy. He's nice. He's lost and looking for his mommy." My daughter's nightly conversations continued until we got our own place later that year. That is so creepy. Another one of my biggest fears is like seeing something crawling on the wall like you see in scary movies. I could not imagine that happening. Oh my goodness. Well, you guys, that is it for today's video. What did you guys think of these stories? Did they scare you? Were they eh? And do you guys have any true stories of your own? Definitely let me know in the comments below. Talk it out with one another, but please be kind to one another while doing so. And I cannot wait to see you for day 6 of our 31 days of Halloween. If you guys enjoyed today's video but you are not yet subscribed, please go ahead, click that subscribe button. I post a ton of videos, so I don't want you to miss when I upload. And please give this video a big thumbs up. Like I always say, it makes my heart super happy when you do that, and it encourages me to keep on making these videos, so please do that. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, love you!